You know this story. A native princess, an English soldier, a forbidden love that saved two worlds. That's the version you were sold, and almost none of it is true. The real girl was 11 years old. She was kidnapped, baptized against her will, and paraded across London like a trophy. And the campaign to hide what happened to her is still running 400 years later. Stay to the end, and you'll see how a child became propaganda and why an American First Lady is still tangled in the lie. Start with her name, because even that's a lie. Pocahontas wasn't her real name. It was a nickname. It meant something close to playful one. Her true name was Matooka. And in 1607, when English ships anchored in her father's land, she wasn't a woman falling in love. She was a child, maybe 10 years old, watching strangers step onto Powhatan soil. The famous scene, a girl throwing her body over a condemned man to stop his execution, comes from one source, John Smith himself. But here's the problem. Smith wrote about his capture in 1608, right after it happened. In that first account, there is no rescue, no girl, nothing. The dramatic rescue only appears 16 years later, after Pocahontas was famous, and, conveniently, after she was dead and could no longer contradict him. Many historians now believe it never happened at all. But the myth isn't the disturbing part. What the settlers actually did, that's the part they'd rather you forget. Because when those first colonists were starving, freezing, dying in the mud of Jamestown, it was Powhatan's people who kept them alive. They brought corn. They brought food. A curious child who visited the fort became a living symbol of that fragile peace. That goodwill is documented, and it was repaid with a kidnapping. By 1613, the peace had collapsed. The English were at war with the Powhatan, and an English captain named Samuel Argall found Pocahontas, now a young woman, married, with a child of her own, visiting a neighboring tribe. He lured her onto his ship with the promise of a friendly visit. Then the ship sailed. She was a hostage. His ransom demand, written down that same year, return our prisoners, our weapons, our corn, and you can have your daughter back. Her father sent the corn, he sent the prisoners, and still, they didn't let her go. What happened during her captivity depends entirely on who's telling it. The English records are polite. They say she was taught scripture, that she chose Christianity, that she took a new name, Rebecca. But the oral history, passed down through the Mattaponi people, her own descendants, tells a far darker story. That her first husband was killed, that she was held for over a year, that she was broken. Two accounts that cannot both be true. The English wrote the one that survived. Then came John Rolfe, a tobacco planter, not a soldier, and nothing like the boy from the movie. He married her in 1614, and the marriage ended the war. Historians even gave the fragile calm a name, the Peace of Pocahontas. A woman used as a treaty, a body used as a signature. And this is where the story stops being a tragedy and becomes something colder. In 1616, the Virginia Company, the investors who funded the whole colony, needed money. So they took Pocahontas to London, not as a guest, as an advertisement. Here, they said, is our proof. Proof that the savage can be civilized, Christianized, made English. They dressed her in stiff English clothes, presented her at court, walked her past the Bishop of London. The only portrait made of her while she lived shows exactly that, a Powhatan woman rebuilt as an English lady, in a lace collar and a tall hat, printed to sell shares in a colony built on her father's land. She was, in every sense, America's first public relations campaign, and she never made it home. In 1617, they finally let her sail back. By some accounts, she was healthy when the ship left the dock. She never reached open water. She fell violently ill and died at a town called Gravesend in England before she turned 21. Her family begged to bury her in her homeland. Instead, she was buried in an English churchyard, and to this day, no one knows the exact spot. You'd think the story ends there. It doesn't, because the machine that turned a kidnapped girl into a marketing symbol never actually switched off. For 300 years, powerful American families competed to claim her blood, to say they descended from the American princess. It became a badge of aristocracy, and it went further than pride. In 1924, Virginia passed a law defining who counted as white, a law built on raw racism. But so many of the state's elite families claimed descent from Pocahontas that the lawmakers had to write in a special loophole. History remembers it by its real nickname, the Pocahontas exception. Her native blood, specifically, was allowed. Everyone else's was not. And the claim reached the White House. First Lady Edith Wilson, wife of President Woodrow Wilson, was a documented descendant, traced through Pocahontas's only son. That one holds up, but there's a second name attached to her everywhere. In books, on official-sounding sites, even in genealogy databases. That Nancy Reagan, wife of President Ronald Reagan, descended from Pocahontas too. Here's the thing. The definitive list of Pocahontas's descendants was first compiled in 1887 and corrected 5 separate times since. Nancy Reagan's ancestors have never appeared on it, not once, in any version. The genealogists who actually trace the bloodline say the connection was never there. The claim just keeps getting repeated anyway. And that might be the whole story in a single sentence. Even now, we would rather hand her a famous descendant than face what was actually done to her. Not a romance. A child turned into a hostage, turned into an advertisement, and then, for 4 centuries, turned into a bloodline that powerful people wanted to borrow. The lie didn't start with a cartoon. The cartoon was just the newest version of a campaign that began while she was still alive. We keep the fairy tale because it's comfortable. The truth, that a real girl named Matoka was used over and over, even after death, is not. So here's the question worth sitting with. When history gets rewritten into a story we enjoy, what exactly are we agreeing to forget? Next time, another love story from the history books, and the abduction hiding inside it.